Hi there everyone, today we'll be going over how to ride a motorcycle. Now, this video is going to assume you already know the controls, so if you don't, check the video description below. Clutch work, actually going, shifting, turning, U-turns, and that's going to probably be about all we cover today. So to start, you need to turn the bike on. To do that, you need to first have the ignition on and the kill switch in the on position. Next, you want to pull the front brake in, stand the bike up, straighten the handlebars, and pull up the kickstand. If you don't pull the kickstand in, you're going to be fucked. Now, with the clutch fully pulled in, start the engine. Bike is now started. So first thing we're going to be doing today is going to be waddling. This is very simple. You just have 2 feet on the ground. You have 2 feet on the ground. Apply just a little bit of throttle, probably between 2 and 3,000 should be fine. And you're going to let the clutch out right to the point where it starts fighting, pull it back in, and then go right back to where you started. So first you want to be in first gear. So pull the clutch all the way in, hit the shifter down. Now you're in first gear. Now with your revs between 2 and 3,000 RPM, slowly let out the clutch right until the point where it starts fighting, and then pull it back in, roll back to your original position, and go right, and you do it again. Super simple. This is just to let you know where the friction zone is so that you can better control in the future. Now, next thing we're going to be doing is going in a straight line. You're going to be walking with the bike, but you're going to be having the clutch in the friction zone so that you're going with power. You're not pushing the bike to go forward. You're letting the bike pull itself. Goal is to not stall out. You're walking it. If you start going too fast, just pull the clutch right back in. This is all you're doing. This is just to get to the basics, so you know where the friction zone is and you have good control. Notice how I'm not going fast at all, but the bike is still pulling itself. Super simple. Now, you want to do this for a little bit so that you get a good control of throttle control, friction control, and you can better just like hold the friction zone where it is. Now that we've done that, what you're going to be doing is going in a straight line with a bit more speed. When you're going with speed, you need to put your feet up. If your feet touch the ground, they're going to fly behind you. You're going to get fucked. Good chance you'll fall. So exactly what we did before, except you're going to let the clutch out a tiny bit more. You're going to start right where it bites and then let just a little bit more out. Maintain throttle the entire time. If you don't maintain throttle, there is a chance that you will stall. Little more clutch. Feet are up. Now, your goal is to go in a straight line. Don't go too fast. And so if you start going too fast, pull the clutch right on in. Start going too slow, let it back out. Just go in a line. Keep your feet up. Do not touch the ground. If you feel like you're falling, you're not. There you go. Super nice and simple. Just stop, pull the clutch in, and you can that is all even, or you can use the rear brake. Same thing, a little bit of pressure. It's just it stops you slower, so it becomes a bit easier. Now, after you've gone that and going in a straight line with speed, you need to go in a straight line with next to no speed. So I'm going to turn around real quick. So what you want to do is find a straight line. You want to stay on that straight line or very, very close to it. And your goal is to go as slow as possible. So same thing, 2 to 3,000, let it bite. And then every time you start speeding up, you pull the clutch back in, let it go back in, go out, pull it back in. Now, letting the clutch out, what that is going to be doing is keeping power to the rear wheel, which is going to keep you upright. Without power to the rear wheel, you will fall. There's no question about it. If you don't have throttle and you let the clutch out, you're going to stall, which will kill power to the rear wheel, which will make you fall. So what you want to do is just maintain throttle between 2 and 3,000. Keep it there. If it goes above that, it is fine. Clutch will always determine how fast you go. So what you're going to do right here, 2 to 3,000, let the clutch fight, feet up, very slow. Basically stop. If you can stop, you're doing amazing. But the goal is to just go extremely slow. If you're below 3 miles an hour, you're doing great. You don't need to stay right on the line, but stay very close. A good tip is to stare straight forward and not look at your speed. Next up is going to be turning. We're going to be starting with a right-hand turn. Multiple ways of doing this. The way I'm going to be doing it is turning my handlebars initially, getting the throttle between 2 and 3,000. So maintain that throttle. Once the clutch starts fighting, you need to make sure you're smoothly letting it out more and more. Do not let it out all the way. Turn and clutch. The way you want to do that, in a bit more specific terms, is going to be to shift your buttocks, or where you're forcing your weight down, you have 2 cheeks. If you're resting your weight equally on both cheeks, that is going to go in a straight line. To an extent, that's normally fine for cardio. But at very low levels, to do so, instead of resting your weight on both cheeks, rest it on your left cheek if you're turning right. That'll let you lean the bike over more, but have your central mass still be here so that the bike will not fall. If you do that very smoothly, let me shift it a little more properly, you can get very sharp turns. If you lean the bike more on the initial turn and let the clutch out a bit faster, you can be much sharper. It goes the same way both sides. There's not really any difference at all. Now, once you've got turning down, you need to start working on your U-turns. First U-turns, I'm not going to complain too much about distance. That's not really the goal here. At least not right now. You're learning. So what you want to do is find something to tell relative distance, and you want some speed initially, at which point you're going to slightly lean the bike. The bike will turn the bars for you. You can turn the bars, but the bike will do its absolute best to stay upright, and it'll turn its bars accordingly. If you feel like you're going too fast or you're not going to make the turn, lightly press on the rear brake. Press it, it'll slow you down. And since your friction zone is still engaged, you will still have power to the rear, even though you are slowing down, which will keep you from falling. So you go here, shift your weight opposing, and look at that. Super simple. Goes both ways. Nice wide U-turns. Very wide, nothing special about them. To do a tighter U-turn, it is good to keep your speed, but you don't necessarily need to per se. You can do it slow. It just does get harder at a certain point because you don't have the momentum to keep you upright. So if you want to do a tighter U-turn, same thing, but you need to look the bike a little further. So you're going to go here, look where you want to go, let the bike lean, and notice how I didn't move the handlebars. I couldn't really show it because I do need to work both that, and I like holding the front brake. It's just good safety in case someone, but there. I do a nice little initial turn where I just push the bars maybe this much, and that causes the wing to go kind of good. Now, what you just saw when I pushed the handlebars and I started going the opposing direction is called counter steering. So let me get up to a better speed. Where if you push right, you go right. Push left, you go left. And that's very, very essential. That's going to be how you do basically everything. But now, something I want to show is let me push right, and then I want you to watch the handlebars. You will see me go right, and then the handlebars will turn themselves because the bike wants to stay up. When you push, all that does is initiate the turn. It does not actually turn the bike. It initiates the lean, which helps with the turn, and then the handlebars follow, which actually turns the bike. Very simple, very smooth, very controlled. Not that. Okay, now that we've covered U-turn, I think it's about time we start covering shifting. To do so, get up to a decent speed, probably at least 15. Put the throttle in, pull the clutch, shift up, release the clutch smoothly, and roll back on the throttle. That's it. I just shifted up a gear. Now to shift down a gear, same thing. Roll off the throttle, pull on the clutch, push down, ease out the clutch, roll on the throttle. And I'm now down a gear. Going to upshift again. Going to go in, up, out, roll. Simple, very simple. All of these things are going to be difficult at first. That is expected. But on the upside, they get easier with time. The more you do them, the easier it gets. Any of these things are. So you just need to practice. Keep practicing. Even if it's not your bike, so long as you're practicing these skills, it ends up helping you with any and all bikes. You do want to practice, but let's say you don't have a bike. You haven't even taken your MSF yet. Hit me up in the description. I got some courses for you to take. If you don't have a bike, you don't have gear, you don't have any other way of doing it, I have a course. Sign up for it. I'll teach you in person, one-on-one. I'll provide the bike. I'll provide the gear. You just have to come to the location. But there you go. Those are the basics of how to ride a motorcycle. With that alone, you should be able to ride in a parking lot with ease. It shouldn't be any form of an issue at all for you. If I didn't describe anything well enough for you, please let me know, either in the comments or I have a link where you can direct message me. I guarantee that I do. Comments work just as well, though, and I do enjoy them. So please comment below if there's anything else you wanted to hear. If you think I could have described something better, if I was missing a crucial detail, let me know down below. With that, I'll see you guys out on the road. Have a good one.